welcome to the Sugar Plum Knitting Podcast. I'm Rachel, but most people call me Ray. You're very welcome to call me Ray. And I'm here to talk to you a little bit about knitting and about my knitting and what I've been working on. Today I also have a couple of sewing projects to show you as well, and a couple of poems. So if you haven't seen this knitting podcast before, I'm a poet. I write poems and have some books of poetry which you can probably find if you Google. And so I always like to start and end each episode of the podcast with a poem. Sometimes it's mine, more often it's other people's that I like, and today I just thought I'd pick two very sweet, very cheery poems. So welcome. I'm coming to you from Edinburgh in Scotland. It's a lovely Wednesday, summery day, and you can find me on Instagram as sugarplumrobin and on Twitter as Smachel, and also on Ravelry as Smachel as well. If you want to get in touch, you can email me at sugarplumrobin@gmail.com as well. I'm going to talk about some knitting projects and patterns and things like that, and all the links to those are going to be down in the description box underneath this video, but do let me know, drop me a comment or something if you've got any questions or if there's anything I forgot to put in. Okay, so let's start with a poem. So I've got my little book of poems. Oh, it's behind here. Moving the kalimba. So my partner plays the kalimba, which is this little musical instrument. So we've got loads of them all around the place in the house. So today the poems I'm going to read, I thought maybe we could all use a little bit of cheer and niceness. So I'm going to read two poems from this book, which is When We Were Very Young by A.A. Milne. I realise that will probably be back to front for you, but this is When We Were Very Young. So these are poems for children, but I still love them very much, and I hope you will too. This first one is called Twinkle Toes. When the sun shines through the leaves of the apple tree, when the sun makes shadows of the leaves of the apple tree, then I pass on the grass from one leaf to another, from one leaf to its brother. Tiptoe, tiptoe, here I go. I think that's just such a lovely poem. You can see there's a little illustration there to go with it as well. The little twinkle toes going from leaf to leaf in the sunshine. We have an apple tree in our garden that we planted a few years ago, and it is doing very well, and I can see all the apples coming in on it this year. I'm hoping we'll have a few this year, and it makes the most delicious apples. They're very, very red, the apples in this apple tree. Sometimes the red even goes to the inside of the apple, and they're very sweet. Apples are my children's favourite fruit as well, so they get very excited when it comes time to pick our own apples from our own apple tree. Okay, well, let's start. We traditionally start with finished objects, and my finished object is what I'm wearing. So you won't be able to get a terribly good look at it because of the way I'm sitting right now. But this is the Chunky Dahlia pattern by Lena Holm Samso. I've not blocked it. I've just been wearing it unblocked because I like it so much, and it feels okay unblocked. But now I'm looking at it, maybe the collar could do with a little bit of a block to ease it out. I'll try and put a picture here of me wearing it so you can see the full thing on me and how it looks. So I've spoken about this pullover a couple of times while I've been making it, but I'll run through it again one more time for you, all the details. So it is knit in this yarn. I have a ball of it here. This yarn, which is just called yak wool, and I got it from AliExpress. It's come, I think, from China, although the details on it are in Chinese, I think. I'm only basing that on I used like the Google, what's it called, that Google Lens, like you can translate it with your phone. So I tried to do that, excuse me, to work out what was actually in it, because when I ordered it there was just no information about it, even like how thick it is, how much the balls weighed, anything about it. But it was very cheap, and I thought I would just take a chance and order it and see what came. And the ball band says that it does have some percentage of yak wool in it. I think it's got something like 25% acrylic, 50% wool, 25% alpaca and 10% yak or something like that. I can't remember. I said it exactly in one of the previous episodes. It's got, oh no, so it's got acrylic in it, and it's got some wool, and it's got some yak, and I can't remember what else. Yeah, it's, I'd say, a chunky weight yarn. It's my daughter moving around in the house. So I'd say it's like a chunky weight yarn, a little bit thicker than Aran, which makes it perfect for this pattern. They come in packs of 5 balls. I ordered a pack of 5. I started knitting, and each ball, as you can see, and you should be able to see in the photo, and you see from the sleeves, each ball was a drastically different colour to the others, even though they were all supposed to be the same colour. Each one has been really different to all the others, so it's just very stripy and mismatched. Yeah, it's a bit all over the place. I tried to make the sleeves the same, so the sleeves are the same, and then the body has all these different stripes on it. And then I finished the body, and I ran out of yarn, so I had to order another pack of 5, which were also just completely mismatched. So that was quite fun. I've been actually really enjoying the mismatched nature of it, and I was talking in a previous episode about how I've been reading that the Japanese have a concept which I believe is called wabi-sabi, which is something about finding aesthetic beauty in imperfection. And I kind of like that as a philosophy, and I feel like that's how I'm feeling about this pullover. I'm feeling a lot of joy from it, and a lot of the joy comes from the kind of mismatched, shoddy kind of look of it, the way it's all imperfect, and I've been really enjoying it. But I also mentioned in a previous episode that I think if I'd spent a lot of money on good yarn from a reputable company, and it had come so mismatched despite being the same dye lot, I would probably be more unhappy. But the fact is, this cost almost nothing. It was just a bit of fun, and so I'm able to feel a little easier about how sort of mismatched and all over the place and patchy it is. So yeah, I just wanted this to be a pullover that I would wear while I'm, out walking in the woods, or out, playing outdoors with my children. We're out a lot in the woods, and so I thought this would be perfect. My daughter keeps saying, "Mommy, it's perfect. You'll be camouflaged in the woods with all the different shades of green." So yeah, and she seems to think of it like that. It's very warm. It's very soft and squishy, and I mean, not soft in a drapey way, not like alpaca is soft, but soft as in there's just no itch at all, and it's very airy and squishy. It's very warm, probably a bit too warm to be wearing today, but it's Scotland, so we might do. It's not going to be that warm. Yeah, so this is my finished object. I'm very pleased with it. The pattern itself I cannot recommend highly enough. I will definitely be making this again, possibly in a slightly less mismatched colour. It is knit from the top down. It's got this turned over collar, which is, I think, really neat, and feels really comfy as well. Then it's got this very simple and I think really lovely lace leaf design on the yoke, and then it goes into sleeves and a fairly long body. It's quite adaptable in how you can do it, and it's got a very simple design. I think this could even easily be a first sweater if you're comfortable already with doing lace, but you've not really made a pullover or a jumper of any kind before. You could definitely knit this. It's very simple, almost no seaming. Can't remember what happens on the underarms. Maybe that bit is seamed. It's top down. Yeah, maybe the underarms are a bit seamed. I can't remember. No, I think not, because it will be picked up on the underarms to go down. So yeah, no, I think there's no seaming. It's very easy, and it went by really quickly because it's in such chunky yarn. I think I used 6mm needles for it. It's, yeah, quick, lovely, comfy. It's a great fit for me. This is exactly the kind of slightly baggy fit that I really like. So yeah, I really like this pattern. I can recommend it. I've been having some really nice luck with patterns lately, and I've had like a run of really nice ones. So that's my first project that I'm talking about. So I've got no other finished objects, well, in my knitting at least, but I thought I would also talk about some of my works in progress. I have 2 works in progress to talk about today, and yeah, both of them are going really nicely. So I think I will start with this one here. This, I will untangle it a little and hold it up for you. It's knitting around. Both of the projects I have to show you today are knitting around on slightly small circular needles, or small cable lengthwise. So it's a little bit more tricky to show you. Hopefully you can see it's just the very top of this. You see, so that's the front there with that nice stitch pattern, which I hope is showing up okay. Yeah. It's the stitch pattern on the front. These are the arms here at the side, and then there's the back there. Oh, and lots of stitches just fell off. So I mean, the cable on this one is a little short, but because it's top down, this is the kind of the widest bit that it's going to have, the bit at the yoke that goes all around the shoulders. So then it's going to get smaller, so I'm not really in a huge rush to change it to smaller, to a larger cable. So yeah, this is a pattern that I am test knitting. It's in this lovely hazel kind of brown, a lovely rich rusty brown, and it is a test knit for Gribba DK, who I've test knitted for before. I can't remember the name of the pattern I tested for her before, but it was another really nice one. I'll put the name of it in the description, but you can see it if you look a few episodes back, maybe 5 episodes back, and you'd find it, or maybe 4. So yeah, so she messaged me and asked if I would test knit this one, and when I looked at it, I just thought it looked so interesting and lovely, and I signed up, and I'm really enjoying it. I'm knitting it with Drops Sky and Drops Kid Silk held together. So Drops Sky is oh, now I can't remember what is in it. I've not got another ball to hand to say, but it's one of these chain yarns. I don't know if that's going to show you very well the kind of chainness of it. It's very soft. I'm trying to remember what's in it and I can't. But yeah, the name is Drops Sky, so you can probably find it online very easily and find what's in it. And this is Drops Kid Silk, which is a silk mohair, a lace weight silk mohair. Both of these yarns are quite affordable. This colour is called, I think, Hazelnut Mix, something like that. It's definitely hazelnut, and this one's chocolate, but I think they're very similar in colour. So when I'm holding them together, it's basically making the same colour. I really like this colour. This is a yarn I already had in the stash, and I just ordered the mohair to go with it. I bought this initially just because I loved the richness of this colour and the depth to it. There's lots of different shades and tones in there, and it's hard to just overstate how soft this is. Just the most soft drapey thing you can possibly imagine. So put together with the silk mohair, this is a very soft and luxurious project. It's lovely on my hands as I'm working on it. It just feels like a cloud. So again, this is a top down piece. Oh, again, it's coming off the needles. Yeah. It's a top down garment. It has a very clever and interesting construction actually. It starts at the top with this, I think it's a 3x1 rib. And then it goes, and then you do the shoulders and then work from there. I'm not going to tell you exactly how it's done, obviously, because it will be a paid for pattern, but It's got a really clever construction which gives you this kind of puff, this poof at the sleeve here without any seams or any, it's very straightforward. You just follow the instructions and, you know, take it one stitch at a time, and it's actually really straightforward. And this pattern here is very simple to do, and I think it looks really effective. It's just like a bit of subtle interest on the front as well. So yeah, I wanted to make it in a lovely drapey fabric because it's kind of a blouse that in the finished object is, I think it's intended to be quite a drapey, blousey kind of look, like a silk blouse, but sort of pullover style. And definitely these two combined have made that really lovely sort of soft drapey fabric. I'm knitting it on 5mm needles. So it's again coming up quite quickly, not as quick as the next project I'll show you because that's on even chunkier needles, but yeah, I'm sort of flying through because this is so soft on my hands. It's a lovely project. I'll be really excited to see it finished and to see what it looks like. I'm always wary of doing anything with puff sleeves, so I'm not sure if it suits me, but this pattern just looked so nice. I really wanted to make it, so I guess watch this space. When it's done, I'll try it on and you can let me know whether you think it suits me or not. But I thought it's just such a nice pattern, and the construction really is so interesting and so clever. I'm absolutely in awe of people who their brains can think of something this clever, and how it would all work, and how it would work in all the different sizes as well. It just breaks my brain. Yeah, absolutely lovely though. I can really recommend any of Gribba's patterns. I think they're really nice, and I think that I really like size inclusive patterns. Gribba's patterns are always incredibly size inclusive, and her test knits are always really positive, wonderful, friendly groups. I think I have some of the best fun in her test knits, and a lot of that is just the atmosphere that I think she makes in her groups. So yeah, I can really recommend her designs. So that actually brings me on to another thing that I forgot that I should probably mention. So I showed you, I think maybe in the episode before last, my little mushroom cardigan, which I knit and designed the pattern for. It's a baby cardigan, and I'll put a picture in because I don't have the original one with me, the original sample, as I gave it to my friend for their baby, for baby Sam, who is just too adorable for words. And that is currently being test knit. It's in the last kind of week or two of its test, and I've seen some of the finished projects for it, which is really exciting. It's knit in fingering weight yarn. I made my sample one in cotton, and it's got a pattern of mushrooms around the bottom, but also included in the pattern are I think 4 or 5 other charts for other woodland themed designs. Like there's an acorn, a leaf, a tree, a bluebell. Acorn, leaf, tree, bluebell. Is that all? Possibly. Yeah, I think there's those 4. And then the mushroom. So it's really lovely that I've had like people testing and using all the different motifs and doing all the different sizes, and it's really exciting. So I'm hoping to get that pattern released soon. It will hopefully be released by the end of July, so in just a few weeks, but I'll definitely let you know and hear when that happens. But I'm so excited about it. I made a little pattern and it's going to be a real thing in the world. It's kind of almost a trial run, this little one, for a bigger design I'm making for older children with a wider range of ages and sizes, which has more complicated colour work. So hopefully I can get that out. I'd love to get that one out before the end of the year. That would be my dream. So fingers crossed. Let's see how it all goes. So that's all the test knits. Okay, so on to my next work in progress, which is very nearly finished. Here we go. So this is a very nearly finished pullover. Just peeking out from behind it. So yeah, I've done the sleeves, done the body, and I'm just got to finish the yoke and then finish off the underarms. This is the pattern's called Autumn. It's an Icelandic style kind of lopapeysa yoked cardigan. It's a free pattern called Autumn by, I think it's called Juha Knits. So you can find it, it's for free online. I really like the pattern. I'm knitting it in Alafaslopi, which is a very rustic Icelandic wool, which probably most of you have heard of, or if not used many times already yourselves. Alafaslopi is the thicker version of the Letlopi. So this is kind of, again, about a chunky weight. I'm knitting this on a 6mm needle. And it's a little rough, the yarn, a little rough, a little rustic. Some people find it quite itchy. I find that it softens a lot with repeated wears and washes. So I used Letlopi to knit a hooded pullover for my son, who's 6, and he's autistic and he has lots of sensitivities to sensory input, but he finds it fine. He doesn't tend to wear it completely next to his skin. He wears it over like a t-shirt or a long sleeve top, but he never complains about it itching or it being difficult for him. And I think just over time with it wearing and washing, it has become very soft and not itchy really at all. So I'm hoping the same will happen with this one. It's definitely a little rough on my fingers when I'm knitting it, and I find that because it's being pulled constantly, I knit continental style with the yarn over my left hand like this, and because it's constantly pulling over, especially if I knit quite fast, I find after a while it starts to rub on my fingers and feel a bit raw, and that's when I swap over to my very soft test knit. So I've got the very soft knit and the harder knit. And this is exactly why I couldn't be a monogamous knitter, because I like to have different projects for different kind of moods or needs. I like to have small projects that I can take out when I'm traveling, like a sock or something. I like to have projects that are complicated, that will take up my whole mind when I'm feeling anxious. And I like to have projects that are very easy and mindless that I can do while I'm, working on the home ed with my daughter or watching knitting podcasts. And then I like to have, maybe if I've got one that's quite rough on my hands, I have one that's very smooth on my hands. So it's good to have this mix. It's really nice, and that's why I couldn't be a monogamous knitter. But yeah, this is a lovely pattern. It's originally, I think, has 3 colours, and I've adapted it for 4, which is really easy to do. I just looked at the charts and decided which bits I wanted to be in the 4th colour, which is the grey. You can see it on the sleeves here and at the bottom. And basically what I'm doing is the green and the brown, and then the ribbing at the top will be in the grey, and the grey will go a little bit into the pattern as well here at the top. So yeah, it's hard to show because it's on such small cabled needles, because the yoke is starting to get smaller, so it's going to get smaller and smaller. So I've just put it on a smaller cable. So yeah, it's got this dark foresty green, this brown, this sandy, lovely sandy kind of beige for the main colour, and then the grey for the edges. And I'm loving it. And so I'm so excited. Whenever a project is nearly finished, I don't know about you if you get this too, but I get really excited and I'm just racing to finish it. I can't wait to see the finished thing and try it on and see what it looks like. So I'm quite excited for that one. Now, I did originally start making that project for my friend, but it's coming up a bit smaller than I anticipated. I think when I was looking at the sizes, I was looking at the actual finished size and thinking that was like, you should make it for that bust size. So what I've ended up with is like a smaller garment. It wouldn't have any ease on my friend. So I'm going to block it and see what the sizing is. If it is a bit too small for my friend, I'll either keep it for me, or if it's too small for me, I'll give it to my daughter, and I'll just make my friend another one in a bigger size, which will be lovely. Really nice. So yeah, I'll just see how it turns out. It's just knitting, it's just fun. try not to stress about it. I do stress about it sometimes, and then I just have to kind of roll my eyes at myself and think, what are you like? This is what you do to relax and unwind, and you've made it stressful. Congratulations. So yeah, I've got to try and not do that and not make it stressful. So my hair is a bit all over the place today because I slept with it in plants. So those are my knitting whips and my knitting finished objects, and I thought I'd finish up by showing you some sewing projects that I've been working on. Now recently I've taken on a little bit of sewing work for a company here in Edinburgh which sells babies and children's clothes that are handmade, and it's run by a really lovely woman called Karen, and I've been just sewing some stuff for her using her fabric and stuff, so I won't show those because they're just, I don't know, doesn't really even feel like mine. But I've been using the same patterns to make some little ones in my own fabric to give as gifts to friends with babies, so I thought I would share those. I've just got two. One is a finished object and one's a work in progress. So, well, an almost finished project actually, because I've not put the clips on. So this is the finished, or the almost finished object, which is a little dress for my friend's baby, which is this little sort of patchwork pinafore dress. See, it's got these different fabrics that are all, it was from a pack of Fat Quarters, which are all kind of similar blue florals. So this is the inside. It's got a lined bodice, you can see, and then an unlined skirt to make it a bit lighter. So this is the bodice. It's lined around here, and I just stitched it down. And then it's just got a normal hem. And this is all done on my sewing machine. I don't have an overlocker, or what Americans call a serger, yet, but I have one ordered that is going to arrive in a couple of days, so I'll have to give you a report back on how that's gone, my attempt to use it. So yeah, it will have little dungaree fastenings here to fasten on, so it can be adjustable as baby grows to fit, hopefully, for a slightly longer age range. So this is the first one, little dress, so sweet. And this is the second, which is dungarees. So again, I've finished the outer layer, but I've still got to do the lining and then attach them. So this will be fully lined. This is a pair of dungarees, and it's made again sort of patchwork style with different fabrics to do with like gardening and growing. This is for my friend's little boy, and I thought it just looked so fun. I love this patchwork style where you use lots of different prints and different patterns on children's and babies' clothes, because I think it's like the one time when you can get away with it. It's a bit loud for older children and for grown-ups, but for babies there's no such thing as too colourful or too many patterns, or, you know, I think that just makes it more fun. So this is the little dungarees. You can see they've got a little pleat on the legs, and this will be lined, and when it's lined it will actually be fully reversible. So hopefully next time I podcast I can show you the finished version of this. It's just sort of a whip right now. Isn't that fabric so cute? It's got little carrots and things growing. Oh my goodness, can't get over it. It's too cute. So yeah, this is for my friend, well, my friend's baby. Those are my sewing whips. So yeah, I can't really share the pattern for those because it's a pattern for like a commercial company that I've just been using and whipping up, but it's a fun one. It's quite a simple one, and you could probably find a million similar patterns if you just look on Etsy or somewhere for like PDF patterns for baby rompers and baby dresses. And yeah, I'm loving sewing again. I'm loving spending some time with my sewing machine. I took like a bit of an extended break from sewing and was focusing on my knitting for a while, primarily because we were having a big clear out of our studio in the garden, which is where all of our craft supplies are kept. My husband does a lot of woodwork, and so all his woodwork things are out there, and I also home educate, so lots of our home education supplies are out there, and then all our other craft stuff, so knitting, sewing, paper crafts, everything. I of every kind of craft that you can imagine, and it's all out there. So we were trying to have a big clear out and sort through, and that meant my sewing table was a bit out of action because it was covered with bags and boxes for a while. So I've been glad to get it back and do some more sewing. Yeah, so that's about it for today. Again, a slightly shorter episode. It's been about half an hour so far. So I'm just going to finish with another poem, and after this episode, I'm not sure when I'll get another chance to record a podcast, because my son, he will be finished for the holidays at his school. He goes to a special school and he'll be at home, and he's disabled, which you know if you've watched before, and he's lovely, but he needs a lot of care, and looking after him is pretty much a full-time and more job. So I don't know how I'll be able to record, but if I do find a chance to, then I will. Otherwise I'll see you at the other end of the summer in August, but hopefully I'll be able to see you at some point in July for a little chat and a catch up. Okay, so I'll finish with another nature poem from when we were very young, or a sort of nature and fairies poem. This poem is called Water Lilies. Where the water lilies go, to and fro, rocking in the ripples of the water, lazy on a leaf lies the lake king's daughter, and the faint winds shake her. Who will come and take her? I will, I will. Keep still, keep still. Sleeping on a leaf lies the lake king's daughter. Then the wind comes skipping to the lilies on the water, and the kind wind wakes her. Now who will take her? With a laugh she is slipping through the lilies on the water. Wait, wait. Too late, too late. Only the water lilies go to and fro, dipping, dipping to the ripples of the water. And here's a picture of her, the lake king's daughter, on the lily pad. Thank you for joining me, and I hope you're having a lovely time. See you soon. Bye.